sisters. I hope everyone is doing okay today in the midst of the current crisis, in the midst of this unique period of time in which we all wrestle with and deal with this coronavirus. I certainly come to you today in the name of the God of grace and peace, and I offer that to you. You may recall that over the past week or two, I brought to you a video series, a six-parter that was based on Rob Bell's book, Drops Like Stars. And so today I want to begin something new. I'm going to do it over the course of 3 sessions, if you will, and it'll include, I guess, a mini tour, if you will, of this, my bedroom. And we begin today in this section, which is an armoire of mine, and you can see lots of items on the top of it. And so I use that as well as a couple other small places in this room to talk to you about icons. And I want to make the distinction between what an icon is and what an idol is. And what I want to say about these icons is that these are reminders for us, things that we can surround ourselves with to give us strength and help us in difficult times. And so I hope that the things that I bring to you and the stories that I tell can be a reminder for you, and maybe offer you a glimpse into maybe some of the items that you may have in your presence that can help you through this time. But first, just a word about an icon versus an idol, and I do so as we bring forth a brief discussion on this, the Bible. When you think of an idol, you may think of that commandment, right? One of the 10 commandments that's found in the book of Exodus, and it's chapter 20, and in it talks about not making any graven images or idols, right? So in other words, put God first. And so in doing that, we have to make this clear distinction between an idol and an icon. What is an idol? An idol is something that can replace God. And if you think about our current context, our American context, an idol, the most common idol, is actually money. Money. Our pursuit of money and all that comes with it often stands in the way or becomes primary as opposed to God and love. And we see this right now in this current struggle, because there is this wrestling match between taking care of one another, preserving life, and our economy. And I don't say this in a dismissive way, because I do understand the reality that if our economy fails to a particular point and we are led down certain paths of recessions and depressions, that can impact particularly those that are in the margins of society in a way that can actually lead to loss of life as well. So it's not this simple, easy either or. But we have to kind of take inventory of our reactions to a situation like this and the kind of concerns that do make money and those types of material possessions a priority versus life and love in God. And so an idol is anything that gets in the way of God. Now an icon is something else. And we've often confused this. And I grew up Catholic, and so within the Catholic Church there are many statues, if you will, and what the Catholic Church would consider our icons, and we've often misinterpreted those to be idols. See, an icon is something that is just a means towards understanding God or being reminded of God. So an icon is something that doesn't replace God or stand in the way of God, but that you can gaze upon, look upon, hold, whatever you may want to do with it, and it will be a portal, if you will. You will see past the icon towards the substance, that which you are seeking, which is God. So if you see a statue there and you visit it, right? Or even a cross. Think about the crosses that sit in our churches and our sanctuaries. You could gaze upon that cross, sit and look at that cross, but as long as you don't stop at that physical cross and go beyond it to see and understand God, as long as that is happening and that cross becomes a pathway or a portal, then it is an icon versus an idol. It's not standing in the way or replacing God, but rather it's a means towards understanding God. I hope that makes sense. And so I have in this place, in this room, and you have it in your homes, I'm sure, icons of various types. And so if we look at this space here, I'm not going to go into all this. You'll see my New York Mets bobblehead dolls. They stand in some other category, I think. In the background there is a picture of Jesus, which I'll talk to you in the coming days about. All right. But there's two items in particular here, one being that picture of Jesus, which we'll get to in another session. But before you here, there's a couple of what we call stoles. Okay, these are garments or part of a vestment, if you will, that is often worn by clergy. And in the Methodist Church, in order to wear a stole, it is often reserved for those that are elders, United Methodist elders. And so I am not one of those, but I was given these gifts, these two stoles, and I want to point to this one in particular, by some friends of ours, the Line Weavers. So shout out to Chad and Michelle and Caroline and Elise. And I was given this stole, okay, when I graduated from seminary at Drew. And so that was a long but, joyful, sometimes difficult journey. It took me 7 years to get there, taking classes at night. And upon completion of that, I was gifted in many ways, including this stole that was given to me by the Line Weavers. And there's a couple of it was kind of custom made, if you will. It includes on it kind of what is a life verse of mine. It's John 10:10, and it says, "I have come so that they may have life and have it to the full." And there's other little reminders on here towards the back of the stole here. I don't know if you can see that. It's the number 42, which is a special and unique reminder and number for me of the presence of God in my life. And then there's some additional, you can see design and artwork there, including the cross and these fish, which are an early symbol of the church. And so this stole is not something that I've worn very often. I think I wore it once, but what it does is it sits here. It sits in my room right here, and I see it. I see it on a regular basis. I see it every day as I enter this armoire and maybe pick out clothing for the day. I see these stoles, and particularly, again, I want to point to this one. And so here's the beauty of it. This was a gift from people that are some of the best friends that Cheryl and I have and will ever have in our lives. They are what I would call eternal, forever friends. We've known each other. Us and the Line Weavers have been close and good friends for roughly 15, 16 years. And so these are friendships that I don't expect will ever end, right? And there's, we all have moments or seasons in our lives where we're friends with folks, and then those relationships change. But there's if we're lucky, there's a few people, all right, that form bonds with you that it lasts forever. And I would put the Line Weavers in that category. And so we love them dearly. And so what this stole is for me, it's a reminder of that relationship, of that friendship, of that love. God is love. This is a reminder of love. And so as we journey through these difficult times and we're confined to our homes, I am blessed to have an icon or a reminder like this because it gives me strength. Now, this is a physical item. It's made of cloth, all right? And so it has a certain physicality to it, but it's more than that. There is a spiritual dimension to it, which reflects that love from friends to me. The same love that is of God and that lives within us. There is a power to this item, and it helps me, along with other things, to be reminded of God, and it gives me strength. It's not an idol. It certainly doesn't replace God, not at all. It is a pathway and a portal, a lens through which I can look into and feel and experience love in God. We all need these reminders in our lives. And so, brothers and sisters, I leave you with that today. And I would invite you to look around in your spaces, in your place, and take note of those items, right? Those gifts that come from friends, those gifts that are given as an act of love, those things that remind you of the goodness of life, of good times that were past and that still remain with you and that will be again, of God. And hold on to them. Put them within your view. Make sure you see them and touch them each and every day. Lean on them, because they will be for you the fuel and the strength that will help you in dark times and difficult times. They will be the reminders that God is with us always. Can I get an amen? Amen. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.